What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Charlie B, and welcome back to another episode of Speaking the Truth TV. And here today, man, I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming in, tuning in, you know, saying what you're saying, feeling what you're feeling, but also being respectful. So I really appreciate you guys for doing that. So today's episode, I want to talk about abandonment issues. A lot of people don't understand that that's a universal thing that goes on in a lot of people's lives. A lot of us, some of us do grow up with moms and dads. Some of us do grow up with moms in the house or dad in the house, but at the same time, they're not there if that really makes sense. So, growing up as a kid, you try to find different ways, different avenues to have friends, finding those people that, really feel like they love you and cherish you and you want to hold on to them. So as you get older, we get into these relationships. We we think we know the person that we're with, but then things change. Just like, when we were younger, growing up as kids, our parents were loving, affectionate, they were always there. Then, something in the blink of an eye changes them. Or they're going through a struggle that we didn't understand as children, but instead of embracing us, they left us out there to kind of fend for ourselves. If you understand where I'm coming from with that. And as you get older, you're so afraid of people coming into your life and leaving. So you're trying to do any and everything possible to try to make sure that I make this friendship work. I make this relationship work. I try to build and make a foundation when it comes to, someone always being on your side and in your corner. But in reality, that's something that you have to deal with on your own. Just to be honest with you, because if I'm gonna be 100% truthful, my true speakers, I'm one of those people. I have abandonment issues. I've talked about it a few times, on my podcast about, how I feel like I'm the black sheep of the family, or how I feel like, every time I think things are going good, things turn out bad. And for me, in some situations, I held on to relationships. I held on to people way longer than I should have, all because I was too afraid to take that step, take that next leap, because nobody really wants to start over. If we're being 100% honest, nobody wants to start over. But at the end of the day, it's all about you making yourself happy. Now, when you think about abandonment issues, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A lot of people say, well, my parents were on drugs, or, you know, I got dropped off with an aunt and uncle, and I had to go stay with them, and they might have got molested or treated unfairly, beaten, or anything. Those type of situations, they hurt our pride. They really do, because excuse me, as a child, you always felt like your parents were the ones that were going to cover you. They're going to love you unconditionally. They're going to, always have your back. In reality, sometimes that's true, but you can't always just blame it on, your past, your mother, your father, your sister, or whoever it is in that situation that you are in. You can't always blame it on that, because once you get older, we have to start processing things in a whole nother light, in a whole nother way. Yes, you already feel neglected. Yes, you already feel left behind. Yes, you already feel unloved. But at the same time, you have to find those avenues. You have to find those ways to Make yourself feel important. Make yourself feel good inside. Not just for them, but you're doing it for you. Because if you don't love you first, who's gonna love you the right way? You know what I mean? If you don't love you, who knows the right steps to love you? And that leads to not setting boundaries. That leads to dealing with stuff that you really don't even have to deal with. Because if a person loves you and cherishes you the way that they say that they do, they wouldn't make you feel inadequate. They wouldn't make you feel beneath them. They wouldn't make you feel not so important. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to other people, you try to extend your neck. You try to, go the extra 150 miles. You try to do the best that you can. But everything that you're doing, they're taking that, but they're not reciprocating that. So that makes you have flashbacks from, back in the day when you were a kid. Like, dang, I love my moms and my pops, or I love my aunt, my uncle, but they treated me so unfairly, so unfairly. Like for me, like I said, I've said this story a few times. When I was younger, my mom, she wasn't always the best, but I mean, she was there. We had to deal with what we had to deal with. That was a long time ago. But the thing that stuck with me more so than anything was how the first her first four children, we really we got tossed to the side basically. It wasn't no thinking about us, trying to figure this out about us. It wasn't nothing. It was just like, I'm gonna dump y'all over here, or I'm gonna let y'all do what y'all do, and just leave me alone. Don't bother me. So then when I get to, down with my dad or whatever, it was more the same thing. It was okay, yeah, he worked. Okay, I seen him at nighttime, but at the same time, we didn't spend that much time together unless it was working on a car, or unless he wanted me to ride out with him while he drank and chilled with his buddies or whatever. But that's not spending time with me. You don't necessarily tell a child, you know, hey, X, Y, and Z, I'm mad at you because of this, that, and the third, or I'm mad at you because, I'm taking care of you now and I had to change this cozy job for that cozy job. Or, it just don't make no sense how much money I'm spending on you when, you can take your butt back where you came from. All of those things resonate with kids. And I know that in this day and age, you can't do your kids the way that your parents did you. You can't talk to them the way that your parents talked to you, because you know how that made you feel as an individual, as a person. But at the same time, it still stings to know that you went through all of this hardship, and they say it's supposed to make you stronger. Yeah, it's supposed to, but taking those first steps, finding that environment, and being placed in that position to better yourself, to really figure it out in your head what it is that you can do to change your life, to where you don't feel like you're a burden on anybody, where you don't feel like, I have to stick this out and deal with this because I'm so afraid of being alone. Abandonment is a real hard emotion. And I mean, people, I mean, I do it myself sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Where one day I'm okay, I'm cool, then the next minute, I can be in a room full of people and I still feel alone. I can be, chilling with family members or whatever, but I still feel out of place. I still feel out of pocket. So it's a lot of different things that run with abandonment and how you feel. And then when you're in a situation where you're trying to be an adult about it, and it's like, hey, can we sit down and talk about it? you know What happened? What really happened? What was going through your mind when we had to go through this challenge or that challenge arose? When they never want to give you an answer, excuse me, when they never want to give you an answer, what does that do? That still leaves a big void because you're expressing how you feel. But at the same time, when you're expressing how you feel, they're not really giving you the answers that you're looking for. And a lot of people say, well, just leave it alone. But how can you leave alone a part of what went on in your life? How could you leave alone the history that you went through, that you felt? If you're trying to better understand yourself, your feelings, your emotions, I think you need that clarity. I think you need that type of um, redemption, should I say, to put the pieces of the puzzle back together. They owe you that much. They really do. They owe you that much to sit down and say, hey, I know it wasn't right. This is what was going on. I didn't know you felt like this, or however the conversation may go. But when people don't want to take responsibility, when they don't want to say, I know I made a mistake, I know I was wrong, I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want you to know that this is how I feel, even though I can't make up for it now, because that's the past. We can't change the past. We really can't. We cannot change the past. Only thing we can do is change our future and make it a better, brighter situation. But when you have all of these things going on in your head, your wheels are always turning. You're trying to really figure out what you did wrong and where do you stand in life. It's hard sometimes. And a lot of people don't want to admit that. A lot of people don't understand that part. A lot of people just want to just sweep it up under a rug, and then that's when you get all of these, school shootings and, people out here robbing and murdering people because they don't feel like they have a safe place. They don't feel like anybody loves them, anybody appreciates them. The only thing that they look at in life is, dang, did nobody want to be around me? Did nobody, want to be my friend or whatever the case may be? Yeah, it's lonely at the top, but everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs that shoulder to lean on when they need to vent. Everybody just needs their friend where, they can kick it to. Even in a relationship, you're supposed to be each other's friend, lover, confidant, therapist, lawyer. You're supposed to be everything for each other. But when you're not sitting at the table and everything is not so equal, what do you do? When people don't want to change the way that they are, knowing that this is not what you're used to or this is what hurts you, maybe you need to step away because people will only do what you keep allowing them to do. No matter how many times you might say, forget it, I'm gone, or, I just can't take it no more. Until you take that first step, until you take that first step, that's when that's when they know that you're being serious. Because if you go to a person, you go to your partner and you say, look, I feel like, we're not talking as much, we're not having sex as much, you don't want me to do this, you don't want me to do that, whatever. And they just keep brushing it off and like all this, all that, or they only come to you when they need it or they want it or whatever. That's not no, you know what I'm saying? That's not equal. That's making you feel like you're out of place. You're using me as an object. Whenever you want it, that's fine. Whenever you want to talk, that's fine. But when the other person wants to talk and vent and do all of those different things, they feel abandoned because you're right there with them. You're supposed to be like this with them. So a lot of these things they stream all together, and nowadays they say therapy is the best way to go about a lot of things. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I want to try it. I haven't tried it. So to all my people out there that's feeling abandoned, that's feeling like don't nobody love you, don't nobody care about you. If ain't nobody told you, I love you. Even though I might not know a lot of y'all, I still love you. We all need to be loved. We all need to be heard. We all need to be cherished. We only get one life. One life. Why screw it up? Why spend time playing with somebody else's emotion or making them feel this big when the only thing you got to do is just leave them alone? Only thing you got to do is leave them alone. Sorry about that, guys. Um, that's all I got for you today. I'm trying to put more content out. It's been a lot of things weighing heavy on my head lately, and I just ain't really had the time to really just decompress everything. So until next time, this is your boy signing off, Charlie B, Speaking the Truth TV. I love y'all. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. Leave your comments, like, what I'm saying, subscribe, share, do what you got to do. But just know one thing here. On Speaking the Truth, we all family. We all can talk and tell each other whatever it is that's on our mind, because at the end of the day, I want to be able to help somebody that's going through these suicidal thoughts. I want to help somebody that's having a bad day. I want to help brighten somebody's life, just like I'm trying to brighten mine. So once again, it's your boy Charlie B. Till next time, peace out.